It's quick and you get a really rather nice result. Welcome back to Living with a Classic. Today is just a little bit of a tech tip. I'm working on the 1975 XJS and on the IRS. And like most of you guys, I'm not building a concours car. And also, I'm not made of money, but I want things to look nice. And that's where this video comes along. We're going to smarten up this IRS. It's dirty. Well, I've decreased it now, so it looks pretty good. But it's some surface rust, and it's just not looking the best. Ideally, it'd be sent off, be blasted and painted, and come back looking fantastic. But neither you nor me can afford that. So what I've done over the past couple of years, and this started over 10 years ago with my 1977 XJ12, I actually brush paint these. And I use a paint that is readily available. At least where I live, there's 2 places I can get it, and I think you guys can probably pick it up in a couple places. It seems to work really, really well. Like I said, it's over 10 years ago. I did it in my 1977 XJ12, and last spring when I was underneath that car, it still looks as good as new. It's shiny. It's dusty, of course, but take a rag, wipe off the dust. It's black, shiny paint underneath. No rust, no nothing. Yes, it's not a winter driver car, but that thing gets used on all roads, dirt roads. I have driven a couple times in winter. It sits outside sometimes. I mean, it's really used. So if it works on that car, it's going to work on this XJS. So let me show you the products, and I'm just going to go through a little bit. Not like a how-to or anything, but I want to let you guys know that it doesn't have to cost a fortune to get a car on the road. Yes, we're doing some really nice things to this XJS because of a sponsorship with Simply Performance. But other than that, everything else I'm paying out of pocket, and well, I want it to look nice, but it shouldn't cost too much money. And here is the paint. We'll grab the black one, take it out here. It's by Rust-Oleum, and at least here it's known as Combi Color. It is a POR, so it's a paint over rust system, and might not be, like I said, the best one. However, I think the test I've done for 10 years there, we've also used it on some other things. My wife has like a little buggy thing that she could pull by the horses. It's been painted with this, but the green one still looks great. We have some outside furniture painted with this, still looks great. So to each their own, this is what I like to use. It comes in different colors, which is nice. This is a gloss black. I've also bought high gloss red, even though I know it's not original. A lot of people think that the diffs are red original, but that's just the paint underneath. So like E-type restorations and things, they're actually supposed to be black. But I think it just becomes a lot black. And I think they look really smart when they're red. And you have the nice silver calipers on there. I just think it looks nice. And this is my car. This also comes in a shade of green, which is very close to British Racing Green that Jag used. And if you mix a bit of black in that green like you've seen it previously, you can touch up some paint in hidden areas like I did inside of the doors on my XJ12. I've actually painted the white one. I've painted the engine bay on my white XJ12 in this, and it works well. Of course, it's not T-Pack, so it doesn't hold up to every chemical, but it's pretty good. So it's good enough for a rear end, at least. The nice thing about it is it stretches. So even if you brush paint it, it looks like it's spray painted. And it sticks on everything. So you don't need to go crazy on the prep work. So it's a quick, easy, relatively cheap solution. I think this can was somewhere between 45 and 50, about 40 bucks this one. I think I paid about 50 bucks for both cans. So really not too bad. So here we go. Like I said, if you are into concours, look away. Not what we're doing, but we want it to look nice and to be a fun project. What I've done here, I've degreased this thing. So you see it's looking a little bit better, but it's still not great. So what I'm gonna do now is I'm just going to grab a little bit of sandpaper and just sand it down a little bit so we get something to grab onto. Like I said, rust or anything, like this small surface rust, no problem. It won't come through afterwards. So I'll sand it down just a little bit, and I'll show you guys. Then I'm going to paint the inside of it. I'll paint the outside, and that will be this video showing that. And then next video, we'll build the IRS together, and you see the rest of it painted. But I thought we'd do the cage here together. All I'm using is like a Scotch pad here, just to rug up the surface. And then that paint sticks to pretty much any paint underneath. So, this is all I'm doing. And then sort of hard to reach areas here, I'll just use a little wire brush. And I put the exhaust hanger bolts just back in, just to make sure I don't get paint in the threads there, so that won't be too much of a pain. And I will be painting the inside of it as well, even though it actually looks pretty good. So I'll prepare the outside like this. I'll wipe it off. I'll turn it inside out. I'll do the inside, wipe both sides, paint the inside, and I'll probably do something else for a couple hours, and then flip it over, and I'll show you guys when I paint this side. But as you see, yeah, I know I've explained a lot of times in this video, but I know it's going to be a lot of comments about this. We're not looking for perfect results here. No one ever sees the top of this thing. But I just want that when I go underneath the car at an MOT something, or when I go under and grease it, that it looks nice. Especially now that I'm putting really nice new shiny parts on it. It will look really good, and trust me, this is going to look fantastic. So yesterday I painted the inside, and it's almost really dry to the touch, but if I flip it over carefully, I'm only really going to damage the surface here a little bit, and that is where the other plate is going. So no real big deal. Inside's even more that no one's ever going to see it. So scruffed it up and painted it, but it looks nice and shiny. So like so, we will flip it over, and I'm going to wipe this down to get rid of any dust or anything on it, and then get some paint, and we'll start painting this side, and you'll see the transformation. And like I said, it's not going to be perfect, but it's going to be more than good enough. Just have a cloth here, and I did wipe it down once yesterday, but I'm just going to get rid of any last bit of grease, a little bit of dust. Like I said, definitely not going for perfection here, but it's going to look really good anyways. A couple of brush painting tips. When you have a new brush, I've already done this a lot, you just go like this for a couple minutes. Any bristles that are loose, you'll be able to get rid of. Once no bristles come out anymore, it's good. Another tip is don't dip the brush in like your big $40 can of paint, because if you contaminate that, well, you're screwed. So I poured it here in another jar. So if something happens, I've noticed that it just gets really contaminated, I can just throw away a little bit of paint and not a whole thing. This paint is really nice in the way that it stretches. So you get rid of all the brush strokes. So it almost looks like you've spray painted it. So that's why you don't have to be, like I said, you don't have to do it extremely seriously with this paint. And that is one thing I like, because it's quick and you get a really rather nice result. So not much to this, so I'm just gonna paint all of it, make sure I get it everywhere. Since this is not bare metal, we'll see, we might do a second coat after 2 hours or so. The space is heated, so it should dry pretty quickly. But we'll see how the first coat turns out. That's the first coat done, and it looks fantastic. I mean, some of these spots, they're just old weld things. I mean, if you were going crazy, you could sand this thing down. I mean, get filler up. I mean, that's not what we're doing. But if you just look right there, see how the paint's completely stretching out and just looking perfect. The little waves you're seeing here, that's the metal. I mean, this has never been an item that is really seen. There was some paint slapped on it really quickly at the factory. Most of these you see on the daily driven cars underneath a car's been sitting, they're all rusty and they look terrible. So just this looks amazing. I have yet to decide on the second coat. I think I will do a thin second coat, but this is supposed to be dust dry in about 2 hours at 20 degrees. I have about 16, 17 in here. So this is Celsius we're talking. So I might wait 2-3 hours, and then I'll decide then if we do a second coat or not. And there we go. I put a second coat on, and I think it looks great. Just gonna wait for this to dry now, and then I have a lot of other pieces left to do, but you'll get to see it all when it's back together in the future video. Anyways, I hope you guys like that. Something a little bit different, but that's one of the things that really started this channel. I want to show you can get nice results and just get these things out on the road. It doesn't have to be perfect. This is a lot nicer than, you know, most people's undersize of their car anyways, and it doesn't cost a lot of money, and you can do it yourself, and it's really satisfying. Well, I'll do all the parts, the diff and everything, and then if you're wondering about the hubs, just a wire brush, either on a drill or by hand if you don't have one. You can get those looking really, really nice and degreasing them. Mine are unfortunately painted, but it comes off of a wire brush. And if yours are just oxidized, wire brush will bring them right back. So future video, we'll put all this stuff back together with some nice new shiny parts as well, and it will be ready to go back into the car. Anyways, if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and share it with friends. And if you're not already subscribed to the channel, please do subscribe to the channel. It really does help out a lot. Till next time, I'm Adam. This is Living with a Classic. I'll see you soon.